Hey everybody, it is Tuesday morning and I just spent a ton of time this morning working on a safety project for the shop. It's in an effort to run my table saw more safely. I was reading in a book last night that like 40 to 50% of woodshop accidents are table saw accidents, and some of my colleagues don't even like to use that tool. But I really do, so I'm always on the quest to make things more safe. It took several hours to work on this, and I'll show you why. But basically I was just trying to get a new, more safe switch on the table saw for when I operate it. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here's my main table saw. It's kind of a standard unisaw from the 60s. It's got a 2 horsepower motor, and the original switch is right down there. I left it on the cabinet. And here's the new, less elegant switch. We'll talk more about the old electronics in this in a moment, but I'll tell you what this is all about to begin with. So, on a table saw, every once in a while, the wood can get bound up or twisted or something's going on where it's not safe to continue pushing forward or not possible. And if you were to let go, the wood would shoot off the machine. That's because that blade is spinning towards you. So obviously you stand out of the way when you run a machine like this, but even still, there's times where it would be nice to be able to turn off the machine without your hands. So the new switch, I can press that green button to turn it on, and then I can turn it off with my knee or my thigh, so that if something's going on, I can do that without my hands. So a good example is sometimes when I'm ripping a piece right here, I'll just be cutting off a tiny thin slice off the side to true up to final dimension, and that tiny thin slice will sometimes travel its way to the right of the splitter, which is really dangerous, and it means you can't push forward anymore. So now I can hit it with my knee. Let's see if I can demonstrate. Yeah, so here we go. So I feel a lot safer with that going on. So I thought this would be a half-hour project. Isn't it always the way? It took 3 trips to the electronic supply store, but the main issue was this. Somebody put a new motor in this machine at a later date, and in the back, on the bottom of the cabinet, they cut it open, and they put a junction there that was wired as if they were trying to use this machine at multiple speeds. But the switch here just has start and stop. So I couldn't see why they were wired up for multiple speeds. So I had to take the fence off, these tubes and rails here. I had to remove the extension table. I had to pull the cabinet out. I had to open up the previous owner's built door here to get to everything. Disconnect everything they had done, and then run new wires from the motor and the cord up into here. I then had to use bolt a piece of wood to the fence to go to this little box up here for the switch. I was gonna add I was gonna like weld that to a bracket, but then just a piece of plywood worked great for that. The cords are reasonably out of the way. I might find at a later date a better way to do that. And I left the old switch in there just so there wasn't a hole in the cabinet. And then I buttoned up all the other stuff that we didn't need and put it back together. So this took 4 hours today to do this, but I know that it's worth it. And yeah, I don't like doing electrical stuff, but I do my best, and this one worked out pretty good. So now, hopefully a safer saw next to add the overarm guide and dust collection sometime soon. Cheers.